Just testing. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Test to make sure this works. Camera's working good. All right. Seems like it's streaming right. I think the camera's giving me more problems like it usually does, but let me just solve that really fast. God, it's just been lately. It's just been like this where we have problems. I have to load something else too, so the screen's gonna blink for a second. It's just that webcam. It just doesn't like it. But this over here. I can figure this. Let's get some music on while we're waiting, shall we? All right. Let's see. There you go. Beautiful. That's working. And yeah, frames are suffering. So we try to turn this camera off and then on and see if that will get it better here. Okay, camera off. Camera on. I'm gonna get this down to a science pretty soon. It's gonna happen. All right, let's turn it off. I'll load it, then I'll load it back up. Here we go. Just that I have the graphics card being used on the camera as well, but it never used to give me as many problems. The camera than anything, honestly. So. That's where we're gonna go, and we'll try it out. Yeah, not that, believe it or not. Just yep, it's just this web camera, people. Nope. Quality controls. There you go. Right. Good. Yeah. If anything, just work. Well, regardless of that, we will be taking off pretty soon. If I can ever get this webcam, I'm gonna give myself another 2 minutes at most to do it, and I appreciate your patience. Update. Sorry again, people. I just want things to be good, and I can never figure this out until I actually get the stream actually going. So. It's really weird. All right, I have 30 frames right now. By the way, I did tell people they could join me on the light, and shut up. Just don't get it. Oh, I know why. No. No, that's not video. Okay. That is interesting. I gotta get a new webcam eventually anyways. But there's that motion blur that they added in the new patch. Give me another minute or two to figure this out, because Okay, that's there. It's ready to go. I'm gonna load it. There we go. It's going on. Let's see if it works. Yeah, it's very laggy, and my frame rate stinks still. Okie dokie. And if I put OBS, Streamlabs OBS into performance mode, it still doesn't help. Hey, no, Cleveland. Oh, when it works great. So, oh, there we go. Come back. Okay, I think we got it. No, it went down to 9 again. Shoot. Figure out here. Oh. Let me switch this. If I have to, I'll fly without the camera, but I'd rather have it. It's kind of nice to have a face. I also had to update the Streamlabs OB. It's not existent. One that actually exists. I don't know. Well, let's see if we do in a... It does. Stay tuned. Sorry about the technical difficulties.
Charlie Golf Foxtrot automated weather observation 1700 Zulu. Wind 279er at tree 9er. Visibility 9er. Sky condition clear. Temperature tree C dew point. 1 tree C altimeter 29er 86. Kilo Charlie Golf Foxtrot automated weather observation 1700 Zulu. Wind 279er at tree 9er. Visibility 9er. Sky condition clear. Temperature tree C dew point. 1 tree C altimeter 29er 86. Kilo Charlie Golf Foxtrot automated weather observation.
November 489er Echo Foxtrot, Cleveland approach. Niner Echo Foxtrot, I'm rating at 5 by 5. Thunder Echo Foxtrot, stand by. Thunder Echo Foxtrot, you are cleared for an east departure, squawk 7456, maintain VFR at or below 3,500.
500 for 9 Echo Foxtrot. And can you just give me that runway one more time for 9 Echo Foxtrot?
Thunder Echo Foxtrot, I'm runway 24, you ready to go?
Roger, runway 24 for 9 Echo Foxtrot.
Thunder Echo Foxtrot, runway 24, taxi via Bravo Alpha.
Taxi via Bravo Alpha to runway 24, 9 Echo Foxtrot. Alright, that means we're going to take a left. We're going to take a right on Alpha 3 out there. And then we should be good, and I'm glad you're hearing me now because it's working once again with the microphone. Sorry, I'm just a bunch of things.
Thunder Echo Foxtrot, did you want Alpha 3 at all?
That would be an affirmative for Alpha 9 Echo Foxtrot.
Thunder Echo Foxtrot, runway 24, Alpha 3, Bravo Alpha, Alpha 3.
Bravo Alpha 3 Alpha to 24 for 9 Echo Foxtrot. Alright, with that, here we go. So, if I keep messing up with that camera, it's just going to get worse. So, let's just leave the camera off. And again, I'm sorry about that today, because I know that my face does mean a lot to me
Thunder Echo
personally.
Foxtrot, are you also looking for flight following?
Negative on the flight following for 9 Echo Foxtrot.
Roger.
Alright, here we go. I should probably change that banner. Geez, just a bunch of things going on today. Change that to there we go, that's the right one right there. And the right rudder, still not working the way it should. Can't wait till rudder pedals are back in stock. Then we should be good to go. But here we go, either way, we're gonna make this happen. So we're on Bravo, going to Alpha 3, to Alpha, do a run up, then request takeoff clearance from Cleveland approach. So, looks like we might have someone landing here on Microsoft Flight Simulator, which is cool to see. By the way, if you did want to join me on this flight, go ahead. More than welcome to, no problem there. You just want to load up at Kilo Charlie Golf Foxtrot and get on here. So, because I still have a run up to do. Coming up on Alpha 3, just right here. I did adjust the sensitivities a little bit, seeing that when I updated the simulator, basically wiped them all out. So, a little bit better for me at least, a little more lifelike. Okay, that's Alpha 3. We'll take a left onto Alpha. Clear on the right. I guess Great Bear 2 is not landing. Maybe they're landing. I don't know what's going on there, but that's Microsoft Flight Simulator traffic for you. But they are landing. Oh, good for them. Slow down here. Turn to the wind and do a run up. Get the checklist ready here. Yeah, sensitivity is definitely a lot better right now. Alright, brakes are set, fuel set to both. Trim set for takeoff. It is flight controls. Doing the box. We're all good there. Annunciator lights. Good. Alright. Instruments. Turn equators in the middle. No flag. Heading coordinator should be about 2.5 almost. A little off. No, it's actually good. Alright, vertical speed looks good. Altimeter. Let's set the altimeter for what they said. They said 2986. Let's double check that for Rex Weather Force. They said 2985. Close enough, so let's set that. Alright, that looks good. Horizon looks good. All airspeed looks good. Mixture best power. Primer. There's no primer. Alright, 1800. That primer comes from flying in the real world with carbureted engines, so. Alright, let's lean it out a little bit. Maximum RPMs here. It's right about there. Back to 1800. Alright, right magneto. Good. Back to both. Left. Back to both. Alright. Oh, vacuum. Looks good. Amps would be charging slightly. They're almost there. So it's a little bit better, but it's the same. Idling. Oil pressure, oil temper in the green too, by the way. Very good. And back to 1,000. Let's turn this thing around and talk about what we're doing here. So if we are on the takeoff roll, there's a problem. Get a emergency, otherwise there's enough available runway ahead of us. We'll abort takeoff and land directly ahead with no one, and land directly ahead on the runway. If we are under, let's see, 1,600 feet, and there's a problem, mechanical emergency or otherwise, we will land directly ahead with no more than 30-degree turn and best glide speed of 68. If we are above 1,600 feet, and there's a problem, mechanical emergency or otherwise, we will take a turn to the, let's see, 27. To the right, land down on the grass, attacks with the roads available to us, best glide speed 68. With that, we'll call Cleveland approach and ask for takeoff clearance on runway 24. Okay, this is not Bravo, by the way. This is Alpha 1 in real life, so that is wrong. Microsoft, get it right. Okay. Cleveland approach, Cessna Echo Foxtrot, ready for takeoff. We're holding short on Alpha 1 at runway 24, Kilo Charlie Golf Foxtrot. Said they're a little out of order, but
Cessna 9er Echo Foxtrot runway 24, clear for takeoff. Make a right downwind departure. Wind is 270 at 23, gusting 32.
Right downwind departure, clear for takeoff. Runway 24, Cessna 9 Echo Foxtrot. This is gonna be a hairy one. I would not fly this in real life with these winds, but they're gonna favor us, believe it or not, on our way there. So that's what makes this flight a little quicker than usual. But we'll see if that holds true. Alright. That good. Strobes are on. Get check. Line. Stopwatch on. And here we go. Rotate at 55. Climb at 74. Very, very good. Oh boy. Come on, rudders. Work with me here today. Would you? I get that there's wind, but... yeah, Daddy's in the market for a new pair of rudder pedals. Here we go. Unless that was the wind, which Microsoft usually doesn't do a good job with. Yeah, the elevator feels a lot better than the defaults, whatever they reset my settings to. More lifelike. Alright, once we get established on cruise, I might try the webcam one more time. I think I might have had something to do with the NVIDIA broadcast with it, trying to read the camera. And then you couldn't hear me most of the time because the video broadcast was doing some funky things too. But seems to be working fine now. Alright, 1600, we're going to think about taking that right-hand turn to do a right downwind departure. Looking good, clear on the right, here we go. And we're going to keep the altitude rather low here to get to Buffalo today. but after the flight to Buffalo,
9er Echo Foxtrot, radar contact, maintain VFR, resume own navigation.
maintain VFR, resume home navigation, Cessna and Foxtrot. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, after we arrive in Buffalo, the next flight, we're actually going to take a little detour to Niagara Falls to see if we can see the falls, get some scenery, and should be all good there. But here we are on the right downwind departure, and I think we're going to stay at 2,500 honestly, so we're not going to push it. We are right on course, and I calculated that we should have a magnetic heading of about 6-1 and a ground speed of 143 knots. Right now we're at 121, so we'll have to see. I'm gonna trim down here, bring it back a little bit. See what we end up with, but that would be an average too. So that's all the way to Lake Erie, and we worry of these clouds as we go. So. No marker needed. Go turn that off. 30 knots ground speed now. So we'll see what happens. We might get more on course here, then we'll go to heading of 61 and see what happens. Not the best weather, obviously, but was doing a little bit better earlier. But then over here in the Northeast, where I am in Massachusetts, the weather's not that good either, and I had the window of getting a bike ride in, and seeing I need some exercise, I had to go do that before I could fly today, so that was the delay today. Alright, we're kind of cruising now, and video's working fine. So let me see if I can turn this camera on, and we'll see what happens, and if not, I'll turn it off. I kind of miss seeing everybody. Oh, frame went down to 9. Camera's lagging badly.
Cessna 9er
That's
Echo
what it is, I
Foxtrot,
know
you
it
leaving
is.
my airspace to the east. Remain clear of the Cleveland class Bravo airspace. Frequency change approved. The Unicom radar service terminated.
Remain clear of the Bravo, and thank you for your services. Squawking to VFR and maintain O navigation. Cessna 9 Echo Foxtrot. That was a lot, but I got it out there. Okay, we're also going to go to the VATSIM Unicom. What's happening here is that the NVIDIA broadcast software is trying to do the camera too, but I don't like it because it doesn't get rid of the chair behind me, which then makes the plane thing look crappy. So we're going to switch. Now that will pick up the frame rate. Yay, I figured it out, everybody. So let's keep it where it is. We should be good for the rest of the flight. So again, I'm sorry about that. Growing pains with all this technology that we're using. But our first checkpoint should be 261. 261. 2G1. Sorry, my G looked like a 6 to me for some reason. And that's Concord Airport. That'll be off to the right in front of us. So we'll look at that and we'll get things going here. But I have a feeling we're going to have to go lower on the altitude here because these clouds are pretty low. When I checked the weather when I first planned this out, it was a lot better than this. I mean, the clouds were up at like 4,000. But also, there's a... Well, it does clear up actually ahead. It says fuel at 48,000, overcast 7,500. Lake Erie has a TFR around it too, so we're going to, for VIP movement. So we'll also take that into account and go a little bit to the right of it. That wasn't there earlier. And then they have, oh, the Patriots versus the Buffalo Bills probably. There's a game south of Buffalo, so we'll also take that into account. But we're going to descend here to 2,000 and get out of these clouds a little bit. And it should clear up a little bit ahead, so that's what I'm hoping. So cruising descent down to 2,000. And it was going to be tricky either way, so. But it's awesome to see that I got everything working again. Yay. And again, sorry, I can only do so much. But it's good to have people on here watching, because there weren't a lot of people watching at the start. And you didn't miss much. It was me trying to get the camera going, which now it is. So that's awesome. If a video broadcast ever just got a way of getting rid of the gaming chair that's behind me to make this look good, like it does, then I'd be all set, and I'd say, oh, I'm going to switch it to the video broadcast. But until then, I can't really do much. So, alright, 2,000. Getting some rain here. This is not good. Alright, well, we're gonna take a little cheat here and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna use my instrument skills here to work. As far as going to Lake Erie, which again has a TFR around it for a VIP, I'm gonna dial into the VOR, the Erie VOR 109.4, so that way with these instrument conditions we have something to follow. You can see that those gusts are pretty bad too as well. Right. And let's see, the radial should be about 60, so we'll set this to 602. Might be too far out to do that, but let's get it ready to go. Also very low, trying to keep like these clouds, so we gotta be careful with these mountains ahead of us. We're gonna climb to 2,000 again. Yeah, we're getting rocked pretty hard by these winds, but we're gonna make this happen, people. We'll make this happen. Also have to switch that to nav, that might help out. Yep. But if you're watching, feel free to chat. Chat's open. And if you just want to sit back, relax. At least I always say this, you know, feel free to just sit back, relax, or chat. That's up to you. But we should have a interesting flight all the way to Buffalo. And should be good. What is the Patriots game, by the way? That's happening in Buffalo. Kickoff at 1800 Zulu, so +5. 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, so yeah, -5. See, daylight savings time is messing with my head today. So, all right, here we go. I guess we're just gonna stay here around 2,000 and keep in contact with the ground here. But it's supposed to clear up ahead, and I'm hoping it does. It's just around the Cleveland area is pretty bad. But yet, Willoughby weather station, 36 knot gusts. So it's good to be challenged. Broken at 33, overcast 44. So that's why again I was going to stay at 3,500, but do what we have to do. No, we did not request flight following. I think it's good. We're good to go, and we'll contact them if needed. But Buffalo is within the Cleveland Center flight following, so if we ever did need it, we can contact them really fast. Again, putting these instrument skills to work. So we want to cross from actually 60, so I should actually put this from, not to. Choose. I want to point this at 180. There you go. Cross the 180 radial. And I'll get us pointing to Erie, but I'm going to use GPS on my tablet as well to help us navigate this. It's going to get a little bumpy. It's pretty good here. Ground speed of 138 knots. You gotta take advantage of the winds at least. Maybe not the weather, but the winds, oh yeah, you gotta take advantage of that. And it looks like I would still be barely legal here to fly in this for VFR. 7 square miles of visibility, broken at 2,000, overcast at 3. So indeed, if we're going by that out of Cuyahoga County where we just departed, then we would be good. Very, very interesting weather here, and I'm glad that everything's working once again. We have to make a checklist just for streaming. So like, did you check this? Did you check that? Yes. We have our days where, oh, that didn't reset to 1200 like I asked it to. All right, there you go. That was weird. I did type it in. this is real world time and weather, so hopefully this is what it resembles in the real world. Even though it's pretty bad. But, hey, there's a Senior 3 Captain, some air traffic control exam in Luxembourg, so not gonna do that, but good luck to that gentleman there on his air traffic control rating test. These winds are indeed affecting us a little bit. We've got some updrafts and downdrafts, but things are going well. There we go. See, it's clearing up just like it said it would. So we're doing okay now, and if we can, we'll get more altitude because this is very low to the ground. But we are on course, good to go. Alright, totally missed our checkpoint as I was trying to navigate the weather. I have 12 minutes and 47 seconds. You know what, we'll wait for the second one. But we are on course. 7 Delta 9 is our second one. Should be a total of 6 minutes, and it should be off to our right. 16 minutes total, so we should be about 3 minutes out from it. Ooh, cleared right up. Look at that. Just getting out of Cleveland. Get some altitude here. Go to at least 3,500 if we can do it. And we are getting towards the end of these around the USA flights that I've performed since June. So it's been on and off, but getting there, and it's going very, very well. Climbing to 3,500. Erie International. Then going right to Buffalo. We are not going to land at Erie International. We're just going to fly over it, or the south of it, actually, to TFR in real life. And then you can hear those winds kicking, though, I'll tell you that. So, also some thunder in the distance, but we shouldn't be getting any lightning. We might see some rain, so we'll have to keep an eye on that as well. Already leaned out slightly. I did that in the run-up, so I'm not going to touch that till we're in cruise. And Gurmak Airport, 7 Delta 9 should be coming off our right, up ahead. And that will be our first real check by the wind checks. The other one I kind of missed was dealing with weather and everything else. Looks pretty nice here, though, huh? The outskirts here, following the coast of Lake Erie, which is out there. I might be up for a second leg after this, so it'd be Buffalo to Syracuse after this. I kind of got everything ready in advance, so seeing that we're getting towards the end, I got a little more motivated to get the flight planning done a little earlier. And I even have the leg after that done, but that's going to be interesting because after Syracuse, when we land Syracuse, the next leg's from Syracuse to Lake Placid. And we're going to be crossing Vermont into Maine, and then we're going to go from Maine down back to Plymouth. So that's it. We would have traversed the whole perimeter of the United States. It gets a little hard when you get to Maine because the airports, they don't go so far north. But I'm going to take a look outside again for Gurmak Airport, 7 Delta 9. Checkpoint. Should be somewhere around here. It does say it's paved, so see it. Somewhere out here. Let me check that altitude. Yep, we're at 4,000. That's where I don't want to be. I want to be at 3,500 to stay under these clouds. Trim that down. Is that airport mate? Is that it over there? No, that's a bunch of houses. It is out here. It's on the sectional. Very interesting. It's literally supposed to be up in the cruise. us today. All right, well, we'll wait till I'm right off the wingtip here, but it should be any second. I don't see an airport unless that's it right there. Yeah, that is it right there. Okay, it looked like a road to me, but that is our checkpoint. I got a time of 17.5 minutes. And we'll try to trim out at 3,500, so let me write all this stuff down. Tons of things to do at the same time. So we'll say 18 minutes. Affect all the other times. 26, 4, 2, 3, 3, 1, 10. Alright, next stop, or checkpoint I should say, is Conneaut, Conneaut. I believe it's a little town or a big city. Oh, it's actually a major visual check-in point on the sectional, so it's all good. And again, we can't fly directly over Area International because they have a TFR in the real world with a VIP, probably maybe presidential, I don't know. So I also want to get this back a little bit with this wind here. We don't have to push as much, and I have a ground speed of 124 knots. So trim up. I'm gonna need that now that we've moved the RPM slightly. I was calculating a ground speed of 150, so you can see that the checkpoint's gonna take a little longer than what I calculated. Again, towards the that right there is actually Ashtabula. I don't know if that's New York or not yet. I'm not sure. I would think yes. Let me see if I crossed the border yet. No, I didn't actually. So I don't see anything. Actually, we're almost in Pennsylvania. We're gonna go into Pennsylvania, which makes sense because it's Erie. I wasn't thinking. I was thinking New York for some reason. But some nice scenery out there. We got a rainbow in the distance there, so that's cool too. All right, let's see if we can get to 3,500. I want to. The trim on this is so sensitive, so it's not like real life at all. Like I should be able to take my eyes off for just a little bit, and it should climb around where I want it to, and then I just affect it. But it's so sensitive that you got to keep an eye on it, and it takes you a while to really trim on the plane, unlike the real life version. So. Nice rainbow in the distance with all the precipitation. Trim up, let's go. The sensitivities, when I move my yoke, it moves right with it. So that's kind of a little gauging factor when you have your sensitivity set right. But I just messed with it a little bit, and it came out pretty good. So. We'll also stay out of Lake Erie, Erie International Class Delta airspace. It is a TRSA, which means you can treat it like a Class C, but you don't have to. So seeing that I'm not getting flight following or anything, I'm just going to go right to the south of Lake Erie one site. Erie International, I keep saying Lake Erie. Stop it. I'm going to go to the south once I hit my last checkpoint before there. Have to descend a little bit out of 3,500. It's going to be a little tricky with these clouds, so it always was going to be. Alright, let's go to 2,900. See that now I've got it almost stabilized at 3,500. Can't win here. Cannot win. Cannot win at all. And we'll stay below 3,000. That way we can maneuver wherever we want to in that area. Setting a little too fast there. This trim is terrible. Microsoft, do something with the trim. I have a trim wheel and it's like really sensitive. Like I can breathe on the thing and it'll move down. So. I guess I'll try that next. I've been using the thumb knob on my honeycomb yoke, kind of like this. It moves up and down, so. 2,900 is clouds are telling me to do that, so. Got some rain and everything going on. And our checkpoint is coming up off the coast there, so we'll be looking for it when we get around that area. Not the friendliest weather, but interesting weather to say the least. Alright, let's trim up a little bit, even out. Stay right here. Was that lightning I just saw? That might have been some lightning. I don't know. Could be. Might not be. Keep an eye on that. Next rainbow. Rain streaking away. Hey James, how's it going? Nice to see you here today. Thank you for tuning in. That's one heck of a rainbow, huh? No pot of gold there. So I think that if we did decide to do the second leg, we might not be able to see Niagara Falls as well. But see, this is the story of the flight. It's either really cloudy and then, oh, clear, or it's, oh, clouds are up higher, and you can go higher. Oh, wait, no, fooled you, so. I will. I do not see you on Twitch right now. It says you're on YouTube right now, but I will call you. Whatever you want me to call you, as long as it's appropriate. So that is our checkpoint out there, Canoe. And that would be right before the border of Pennsylvania. So, we are about 40% through this flight. No, 30% through this flight. So, yeah, feel free to view wherever you want to view. I appreciate you just coming in. Some nice graphics here. Hey, what's up? We are us. Or is it US? It's probably us. Nice scenery. See that motion effect there? That's new with the updated patch. Kind of blurs, motion blur. I could take it or leave it. It's not a big thing for me to have. So, yep, Cessna 172. That's what we've been doing for all the around the USA flights here. And we're getting towards Plymouth, Massachusetts, so it's getting closer. There's only about another, what was it, 5 flights maybe left? Ugh, excuse me. I've been flying since June on all these flights, so. But that's not looking too good out there with all those clouds. Erie is up ahead, but again, I have to descend. Well, I don't have to descend. I have to go towards more the southern part of it because that presidential VIP TFR, I think it's presidential. They must be visiting Pennsylvania today. There's Canoe right off there. That's pretty. The scenery seems to be loading a lot faster too. What's the big boy flight? You mean like one that doesn't require diapers? So, if you're referring to a bigger, longer flight, I would say, oh, you know, I used to do all that stuff way back in the day, honestly, with Virtual Airlines. And seeing that I'm a private pilot, I fly mostly general aviation now, only to practice my skills and keep them sharp. So, Someday I might head back to the airliners. I'm not really too keen on it right now, only because just haven't gotten into it. I do want to fly the Cirrus more though, which is faster than the Cessna, obviously. I want to do that once I get these flights done. But that was Cano. I got a timing of about 27, 28 minutes. And I said 26, so I'll say 28. Well, maybe kind of consistent with the other times, so. All right, Erie, Pennsylvania. Erie International is our next checkpoint. So we're going to go slightly to the south here. She was going to get off that and go about east. And I do want a little more altitude. I'm just trying to gauge these clouds, which is why I keep going down in altitude to stay underneath them, so. All right, go get some food. We've all been there. But thank you for tuning in really fast. I appreciate it. So I would probably be eating some food if I wasn't streaming, because I don't know. I feel kind of awkward with that. I could drink iced tea, whatever. But I just can't eat, like, you know, popcorn or something stuffed in my face while I'm flying. So, but you go ahead, sir. Everyone, Mimar you, or Mimar us, Mimar us. All right, now. I can't remember if I installed scenery for Erie or not. I did a bunch of scenery for this, and it takes my simulator about, say, almost 5 minutes to load because of it, but it was taking almost 11 minutes. Excuse me. Ugh. Almost 11 minutes when I had other scenery installed with it. So what I did was I ended up taking out parts of it. The Southwest, see, I'm not flying there right now. I took that out, and I'll just put it right back in. But installing scenery in the new simulator is actually a lot easier than what it was in FSX and stuff. It used to take hours, whereas now you can just drag all the folders in. You're done. It updates it itself. It's just the loading time might be a little increased due to that. Now, these clouds are hit or miss, though. All right, we'll descend a little bit more. You just gotta be careful because there's some peaks out here to 1700. So 2000 is about the lowest I want to go. Rainbow's just following us. I gotta take a picture of that now. It's just asking me to. There we go. Screenshot of that. Talking way too much. That's why I keep yawning now. Oh my lord. Barely legal on VFR here. It's more the clouds than anything. So we're supposed to maintain a 500-foot distance above the plane and the cloud layer above. So we knew it was going to be low flying today, but this is pretty low. Rex Weather Force is doing a heck of a job with weather now, and they fixed it within hours after that patch where the old one wouldn't work. It's just I decided to stream like right as the patch got applied to my simulator. So, but within a couple hours, they were updated, and good to go. So, if I could ever stop yawning, it'd be wonderful. Got more rain. You know, I'd be feeling a little uneasy if I was up here like this in real life, but it's simulators. This is what gets me to practice stuff like this. All right, let's descend down to 2000. Come on, trim down. That's just rain. That looked like thunder to me. I mean, lightning to me earlier. So. Just rain on the windshield. That is kind of cool for effect, though. Kind of missed that prepared. Good, sorry. Prepared if it was raining and you're using 3D cockpit, it just literally looked like lines of rain, and that's about it. It didn't like hit the cockpit or anything like it does here, so. Alright, it's also getting altimeter setting here. Let's get the weather at Erie International. It's 120.35. See what it says.
Erie Airport information, Charlie 1800 Zulu. Wind 182 at 17. Visibility, 9er. Sky condition, clear. Temperature, 9er.
That doesn't look clear to me.
1 tree. Altimeter 29er decimal 8 tree. ILS runway 24 in use. Landing and departing runway 24. VFR aircraft say direction of flight. All aircraft read backhaul short instructions. Advise controller on initial contact you have Charlie.
Alright, so they're saying clear.
Erie Airport information Delta 1800
I'm wondering,
Wind 182 at 1.
one, if I could ever turn this weather off. I mean the ATIS report off. Two, I'm wondering if it's not using the Rex Weather Force there, which it probably isn't. And I wouldn't know why, because you kind of need an updated weather forecast as you go. Right now, on Rex Weather Force, I am getting gust 2.9, 10 square miles of visibility, rain, yep, broken 2600, broken 3400, overcast 4500, so that's what I'm seeing right now. Peak wind, 32 knots, 1755, so that's at 1255, that's almost an hour and 20 minutes ago. But definitely too low now, because again, I looked at that screen way too low. And the trim's not as good as it should be in this, but we are clear enough from the Class Delta of Erie International, and it looks like it's clearing up like it said it would, so I don't know. It is what it is. I guess it does inject the weather early enough to get good weather reports. Looks broken to me. It's an interesting flight. It's nice to see weather that you have to contend with a little bit. Wish the trim always worked better. I've always complained about the trim since day one of this. It's not realistic at all. So I guess I'm gonna try using the trim wheel here. See if it gets more accurate. Look at those winds with the gusts coming in. I have to head a little bit more to my south here. Airspace. Alright, well, in order to do airspace there, I'm going to do this to the best of my ability. You need a sectional, number one, to understand this. So, and the reason why there's different airspaces in the first place is they have different rules. So that way, you can go into an area that has multiple air traffic and this and that. And if I miss anything on this, please correct me, because, again, I'm human and I make mistakes. But let's take Erie, for example. I know you said start with G and E, but I'm not going to. Let's start with Erie International out here on the right here. Now, I'm avoiding the Class D airspace because I don't want to have to contend with that. I'm at 2,000. If you look at the sectional, they have this little box here that has a 32 in it. That means that the top of that airspace is at 3,200 feet. So if I wanted to go into that blue circle, which is dotted on the sectional, which shows you where the Class D starts and it circles, basically, then you would need to contact tower and get permission to enter there into that Class D, because the tower controls that. Even if you're on approach would send you over to tower to go over there. So you need permission to go into Class D, and that's typically because it has more air traffic. That's usually the reason why. Erie International, being an international airport, it's not Class C or B because it's Erie, but it still has a lot more traffic than other things. And again, you gotta look at the sectional for the ceiling of that. So you do need clearance from tower to get in there. You do. So you'd ask to land, or you'd ask for transition to Class D. That's why you do on the radio. But we're avoiding it, and that's why, because I didn't feel like doing that. And they also have a real world TFR there, VIP. There must be some president or something in Pennsylvania today. Two-way communication is Class C. Let's talk about Class C. Class C is magenta. It's a solid bunch of circles around it. And if you look at Erie on the sectional, you'll see gray there. pretend that was magenta for a second, because that'll help me with this gray one there. So, pretend the gray lines around Area International were magenta. That would mean Class C, alright? What that means is that you're probably looking at more traffic going in, because it's a wider amount of, it's a wider range around the airport. It's typically 10 nautical miles instead of 5 like Class D. So, one ring is like 5, 2 rings is like 10. So 10 nautical miles out, they don't want you in there unless you have two-way communication. That usually means approach. You're talking to approach, and as long as they have you and they're tracking you, they'll give you a squawk code. Then you will be able to enter Class C. If you're gonna land there, it's like Class D. You'd have to contact tower. Approach would hand you off the tower at the appropriate time, and you'd be dealing with them. But you just have to have two-way communication for Class C. Class Bravo is kind of like the same thing as Class C, except it's blue, solid lines. That's where you find the heaviest traffic, and that's why it's the strictest to get into, because you do need clearance to get to Class B. It's not just two-way communication. You need to contact approach and ask for transition clearance to Class Bravo, and if they're really busy there, anyone can deny you, by the way, but if they're really busy, they might say, no, you're not allowed to do the Class Bravo, and you have to play around it. But Class Bravo, you're talking like big jets, international airports, kind of like Boston Logan, you know. I typically have never been in Class Bravo, nor even Class Charlie, honestly, in real life, because it's just not, I mean, I've flown above Class Charlie and Bravo because I just didn't want to deal with it and have to ask for clearance. And then if you're in there, like let's say that you accidentally descend down in there and you didn't get like clearance for that, you can be in pretty big doggy doo-doo. So if you avoid it, it's not that it's the best. There's no problem asking for transition through it. But if you plan to go, like for me, I went from Plymouth to Nashua, New Hampshire, and I flew over Boston Class B airspace because I didn't want to have any problems with Class B. I went at 8,500 feet to do that, by the way. So the numbers and the circles will tell you where that ring is. So for Lake Erie, going back to Erie International here, 6,000 to 2,300 is the airspace there on the outer ring, and surface to 6,000 is the inner ring. So if you're anywhere in those things, and that was a big magenta line, that would mean that you're in Class C. You do not have to tell them you're flying over it. No, you can just fly right over it. Typically, I would have flight following on it though, because then you're in two-way communication, and even if you busted it, you're in two-way communication, so you're fine. So in Class C, that is. Now, if you look at Erie International, it has gray. I just have to get a time check here, about 40 minutes in, and now we're gonna head towards Buffalo. So very good. 38, 46, 57. Just let me update my times here. If you look at Lake Erie and you see how it's gray, that is called a TRSA. And if you notice, it says Erie TRSA in a big black box. That means that they would like you to observe that it would be a bigger traffic area, and that's like a non-mandatory treating it like Class C, so they would like you to contact approach and that. G and E are a little difficult. I remember E is everywhere. That's how I got through that. And I'm gonna turn straight to Buffalo here. G, if you look at the magenta gradient, you know, it fades in and out around Lake Erie. That's why I kind of said stick with Lake Erie. Anything within that gradient is Class G. That's typically 1,200 and below, I believe, if I remember right. Anything outside that does not have any airspace around it, that's Class E. And I don't have my little chart on me that helps me out to double check things. But Class G and E are typically non-tower, non-controlled areas. But there are different rules that you need for visibility and stuff to fly those. See, now it cleared right up, so now we're good. So let's see if we go to 3,500 like I filed, full throttle. TRSA, again, is just a voluntary Class C. That's how you look at it. They would like you to contact approach and get flight following because there's a lot of traffic in the area. So that's that gray area. That would be like a Class C, but it's gray because it's non-mandatory. So you don't need two-way communication to go in here. Like me, I'm in the TRSA right now. I'm not flight following or anything. They would like me to, but I don't have to. But it's all on me if I were to get in an accident. Erie is out there right now, so. All right. Well, did I answer most of your questions? I know I kind of spit it out. So again, that G is within the gradient, and E is anywhere outside of that gradient. So if you get a hand on a paper sectional, it'll show you that in the keys, by the way, because even though we're trained pilots, we still forget time to time certain little things, and you just have to quickly check it up. So Class B, above Class B, I would say is Class E. Yeah, it would be, unless there's yeah, it would be Class E, I believe. And again, you want to monitor what's going on up there and look for traffic, because you're in charge at that point looking for traffic, which is why if you're going above those areas, it's a smart idea to use approach, especially seeing that you probably have airline traffic. I know that when I went over Class Bravo in Boston, they had like Southwest jets and stuff coming up through. So it would be good to be in touch with approach so that they can deviate you around that in case there's a problem. Same thing with Class Charlie, because I was flying over Providence Class Charlie on my way out to Connecticut. And again, I was in touch with approach, and I wasn't flying through Class Charlie at all. I was above it, and they let me know to vector out towards the south because they had a plane coming in to land in Providence. So again, they would have to make that other plane kind of vector off. They didn't have contact with you, and it's just better to have someone else helping you look out there. Like in real life, I'd have approach on right now, but I didn't feel like doing that because there's not much that sim traffic here to worry about. But in real life, there can be quite a lot of traffic around Class C and Class Bravo, hence why they have I can't even say what I'm saying here. I don't know. But that's why they have different airspaces in general, just to keep the rules the same and visibility rules so that you can see what's going on. So, wow, look at that cloudiness over there, over Erie. Again, we're going to be going out over Lake Erie because that'll lead us more direct, and our next checkpoint on our way to Buffalo would be northeast. And I know that sounds weird, but northeast is a visual checkpoint on the sectional for VFR, and that will be off our right. It's actually a town or city, and there's a highway, Interstate 90, that it runs along. So, are there any more questions? Because I don't know if I answered it totally correct. I hope it made a little more sense. It took me a little while to really get it down in my head, and obviously for the private pilot written, they actually have you pull out. I should say they pull out like the DFW area because there's airspaces galore there. It's like it's very intricate to navigate through that airspace in Dallas-Fort Worth. So if you really want to get a really good grasp on that, start looking at that, because that has like Class E, Class G. Oh wait, no, you're underneath it. So, but typically as a VFR pilot, I don't really fly through Class C or Bravo unless I really have to, and I'm planning on doing that someday when I do the Boston Skyline tour. They actually have like a route going over Boston. They don't have to let you in there again, but it's something I would like to check out, especially seeing that with the College of Boston. It's kind of the major city other than Providence. So I've flown over Providence quite a lot, getting to Connecticut and stuff. And Providence only goes up to 4,100, so I'm usually above it anyways because I want that extra altitude in case something happens with the engine, to have enough time to make a call on stuff. And I'm usually going to Connecticut, so I'll be at like 4,500, sometimes 6,500. I did go through Class Charlie with some friends though. That's a video, a couple of videos back in the replay YouTube. Oh, we got some clouds coming in here. Alright, let's dip back down to 2,900. This trim is terrible. But any other questions, just throw them at me. I'll try to answer them the best I can. When you practice on the simulator, it makes more sense because then you can have, like, my instructor, gave me a little part about airspaces and the visibility requirements. Typically, it's 3. In Class G, I think it's 1, and in Class Bravo, it's clear of clouds, if I remember right. It's a lot to take in. Sometimes I forget because I'm human, but that's why we have these things to check off. And obviously, I did pass the written and the oral where they went over that, but again, it's like anything else. It's a thing that you keep revisiting and learning, so that way you don't forget. Nighttime has different rules too. In Class D, you need think it's 5 square miles of visibility. I don't know if that's D actually, but you know what? My flight bag's over here. Let me pull up that card if I can. Yeah, I got it right here. All right. So this is my knee pad here, and I have it right here on the side. So I have to check it up during flight, which I don't really do a lot of, because I kind of have everything down before I go. All right, here's the card. Let me descend here. 2,500. Thank God for GPS, huh? Northeast, by the way, would be out there. It's a visual checkpoint, and I don't know if we can see it. I'm scared of the clouds, but it is out there. It's actually right there. I got a time of 48 minutes, so I said 46. So again, I calculated a faster ground speed when I did my calculations, so it's okay. No problem. 760. All right, next checkpoint is Dunkirk, and I don't mean in Europe. So, all right. Here's the official card that I use when I get confused. These clouds are terrible, huh? Jesus. Alright, Class Bravo. Visibility. Minimum visibility below 10,000 feet in your VFR. 3 miles. VFR cloud clearance below 10,000 is clear of clouds. That's what I said before. Typically, a lot of these are 3. There's one that's 1 mile. Class G. Minimum visibility in Class G is 1. Nighttime is 3. Class E and G, you need 5 miles visibility at night. I'm sorry. No, that was wrong. 3 miles of visibility at night. And it's 3 miles for almost everything. So I remember this chart. But the cloud clearance, other than Class Bravo, is what I said for flights in general. 1,000 feet above, 500 feet below, which is why we're still legal here. 2,000 horizontally, which is why we're still legal, although the visibility is not that good. So, and we're at like 1,700 here, so we don't want to go too much lower. And I'm going to stick towards the coast because of that too, because if you have a problem, you don't want to be over the water here. You want to be near the coast. So, yeah. Well, thank you. And again, these cards, they have this stuff online too. They have this whole thing about airspace and how it looks like an upside down wedding cake, and then the clearances and stuff. So go check that out. It's got to be there somewhere. But it's helpful. I mean, I studied right off of this until I got it in my head. And obviously, it disappears with time. But whenever you plan your flight, you look at stuff like this and make sure that you're going to be good and understand the rules on along your flight. So, which is why I avoided Air International because of the TFR, and also because I didn't want to have any problems with Class Delta there. Alright, Dunkirk is a big city off the coast here, so that's why, again, we're going to go along the coast. If we have any engine problems, we'd have a place to go at least at this altitude, which I'd like to have more than this. I'm going to try 2,000. These clouds, I got to keep playing with this all the way to Buffalo. So, I don't know if my wife would like the stud comment, but I'll take it. And, see, what the heck is that thing? That looks like remnants of the satellite imagery there. Or it could be a boat. I don't really see the boat, though. That could be waves. I guess that would be a boat. It's just not coming out there pretty good. And we'll just skim the coast here. This is going to play with our checkpoint times, but that's alright. Kind of take that to account too. Really weird weather. And just an update on where we are. Here we are, and here's Buffalo. And you got these storms to the south of it. So we're going to try to just get in there. There's some restricted airspace. And there's a TFR again for the Patriots game up in Buffalo, and being from Massachusetts, kind of root for the Patriots. Although I'm not the biggest football fan ever. I played hockey in high school. But true story, I lived around the corner from what used to be the head coach of the Buffalo Sabres. He actually lived in Rhode Island. He had like 3 houses, and I grew up with his daughters. And it was kind of cool because, you know, he was in the NHL coaching and this and that. His name was John Muckler. Go check that out, John Muckler. And his daughters were very nice people growing up. They were older than me, but they used to like come over and play and stuff, and it was cool. And see a lot of things. So one time they had the Stanley Cup on his front yard because he also coached the Edmonton Oilers during the 80s with Wayne Gretzky and stuff. So good memories. Yeah. So I was very young, so I can't remember if I actually met Wayne Gretzky in his front yard. I like to say I did, but pretty sure I did, but I can't like remember because I was like probably 4 or 5 back then. And it's just, you forget over time. Of course, how could you forget meeting the great one? But it is what it is, you know. Again, we're just gonna hug the coast here in case there's any problems with engines. I'm trying to do this a little more real life, even though I would have probably called this one a real life because of the clouds. Because again, you don't put yourself in situations like this. But we are heading to Buffalo, where he did coach the Buffalo Sabres. He also did the New York Rangers for a little bit, I believe. And then he became the general manager of the Phoenix Coyotes. So, and now he's retired by now, but they have some nice, interesting news stories on him and everything. It's pretty cool. And again, to know well, I mean, I knew his daughters more than him, but to know that an NHL coach lived around the corner from him is pretty cool. So now in my 40s, I have joint problems and everything. It's great, you know. I don't know if that's from hockey, but I do more cycling than anything. And I went on a bike ride before the rain that's supposed to hit here in the Northeast this afternoon, so it was good to get some exercise in. Halloween was not kind to me with the kids and everything. My in-laws, we had Italian food, which I love because my mom was Italian. She used to cook Italian all the time. But can't be having that stuff at age 40 and trying to be healthy. So we splurged last night. We had a little bit of candy and stuff. You gotta keep that medical in check. And I'm good till 2024, but still, I gotta keep it going. But yeah, any more questions you got, try to throw them at me because it makes me revisit everything too. So it makes me think of things. Dunkirk should be ahead of us on the coast there. We're just passing Westfield, Pennsylvania, and I'm wondering where the border is of New York here. So did we already cross it? I don't think we did. There's Buffalo. I'll work my way down on the sectional until I see it, but I am not seeing it. Chautauqua Lake is out there. We're doing altitude. Ooh, it trimmed out pretty good, file. Alright, awesome. Erie, Pennsylvania. I'm looking up the coast here. I'm not seeing the border of New York. This is my senior moment, everybody. I mean, is it right near Buffalo? I think it was. You know what? I don't know, but we're heading up in New York today. That's all I know. Here's the coast. I'm going to stay at around 2,000. Stay underneath these clouds. And again, if in real life, I'd be worrying a little bit, a little nervous. But you're still legal. You're 500 feet below the clouds, and you have good visibility below you. So you can do this. Is it smart? That's a different question. You also have to know that the altitude, that there might be towers and stuff below you. Like there's one inland more. It says 2047 that there's a structure out there. There's actually an antenna out there too at 2,800 feet. So you'd be looking for that type of stuff. Staying along the coast, you're probably a little safer than that. There's a point at 1,000 feet off the coast, right ahead of us. It's Dunkirk, right out there. So definitely see our checkpoints. Oh, just cleared up again. Done like that all day. Clear, not clear. Clear, not clear. But I'm gonna try to get more altitude. So you have to be 500. You kind of gauge it by what you've done flying. You know, like I know I'm definitely under 500 feet here, but you can also dial into the radio. Like you have Chautauqua County Airport, so we'll get the weather there. 119. It'll give us the ceiling of the clouds. So you have an idea of where you should be.
Kilo Juliet Hotel Whiskey automated weather observation 1800 Zulu. Wind 291 at tree 2. Visibility
Let's get an
9er.
tip setting over here.
Sky condition, clear. Temperature, 6C dew point. 1 tree, C altimeter, 2971.
There you go. So that's gonna make a big
Kilo
difference.
Delta Kilo Kilo automated weather observation. 1800 Zulu.
2971. What are you doing? You're going
291
nuts.
at tree 2. Visibility, Niner. Sky condition, clear.
That's a little more
Temperature,
sensitive than I
8C dew
remember.
point. 1 tree, C altimeter, 2971. Kilo Echo Lima Zulu automated
first-
weather
oh,
observation.
hey, whoa,
1800 Zulu. Wind, 291
That's
at
weird.
tree 2.
Never did that before.
Visibility, Niner.
No. Hey,
Sky
hey,
condition,
stop moving.
clear. Temperature, 5C dew point. 1 tree, C altimeter, 2971. Kilo Juliet Hotel Whiskey automated weather observation. 1800 Zulu.
Maybe that's that thing that person was telling me about the other day. All right. So if you heard where the clouds are, they give you the ceilings. You kind of know, can gauge where you're at. That's right after Dunkirk, by the way. Chautauqua County, Dunkirk Airport. So we should be good. But Dunkirk's right there, and the airport should be right north of that. And other than that, you can kind of visualize just by flying over again, like 2,000 feet horizontally. Obviously, I'm good. 1,000 feet above, obviously, I'm good because the sea level would be, obviously there. So, but again, a lot of distances you visualize. A good thing about doing this is if you get, and you shouldn't do this while training, just my personal opinion, you should train the traditional way without the EFB and this and that. But if you're doing the simulator, where I did the EFB all the time and still do, and even in real life I do as a backup, if I have my paper sectional still, just to be safe in case electronics go down. But you can kind of see on that outer circle it'd be 5 nautical miles, and then kind of get an idea of distance-wise. And the more you do that, the more that you can estimate distance. It's more estimations than anything. So, does that make sense? So 500 feet below these clouds is where I have to be. 1,000 feet above, but we're not above it because that'd be a bad place because you can't see the ground. And 2,000 horizontally, 2,000 feet horizontally. Dunkirk is coming up right there. It's important to get an altimeter setting. Again, another reason why to follow approach, or else you have to dial into airport traffic like radio like that to get altimeter settings. And approach, they'll give you things there. That is the VFR rule. It's 500 below clouds, 1,000 above clouds, 2,000 feet horizontally. And again, that's in class Charlie, Delta, Echo, and Golf below 10,000 feet, except Bravo. Bravo's just clear of clouds because they're going to keep an eye on you more, and they're going to keep a tab on you because there's probably lots of air traffic in there. So you can go into Bravo and just be clear of clouds. So, yeah. Well, typically buildings and stuff, they want you to be 1,000 feet above. Yeah. I mean, you could be 500 feet above, but they would like you to be 1,000. In congested areas, I think it's 500 in non-congested. So, but being at 2,200 feet, we're still good here. We're gonna fly right over Dunkirk, and I have a time of about an hour. It's gonna be a little slower, but it's a little safer with these clouds and the altitude I'm at. So actually, that came out pretty good. That just added an extra minute. And that's why we plan out our flight. This is called dead reckoning, where you calculate times and when you should be there and stuff. And you should be able to visually see your checkpoint, like Dunkirk's right there below me. And I have a time of 1:10. I said an 1:09. That's why I have a stopwatch. And it gives you an idea that you're still on course and doing your thing. So the GPS is backup because it gives you a great visual on where you are. So, well, again, you kind of get used to it. By doing the traffic pattern, you'll be calling when you're out like 3 miles on the 45 and this and that. You get used to estimating the distance between you and the airport. And your instructor will correct you, by the way, when you get that wrong. And you'll be doing that so many times that you just get used to estimating it. Alright, dead reckoning. You got to get the winds aloft data. And you have all these calculations. You get an E6B. This is an E6B. It's a calculator. It's a flight calculator. We call it an E6B. And you enter in all that data, and it gives you a heading to follow for wind correction. So when the wind's pushing you, it tells you which way to put the plane to keep straight on that path that you want to go. And then it tells you, like flight time, where you should be at a certain time. And it tells you if you're a little late or a little early, or if you don't see that visual and it's been more than 10 minutes, you know that you're totally lost and you have to go and calculate your position. position. Probably by VORs if you can, or by looking out the window and trying to figure it out on a sectional. Much more accurate with VOR though, if you can calculate VOR. So, in fact, Buffalo has a VOR right out of it. So, if I have all these clouds and stuff in real life, I might dial into that 116.4, and I'm looking at my sectional to get these radio things. And you can see that it came alive right there. I haven't set to nav because to that frequency. And Buffalo would be slightly to the left of that. But what we do, if I'm totally lost right now, and like I'm in the clouds and I can't, yeah, that's exactly what I'm getting to. If I can't see anything and I'm like, oh man, I gotta make the Buffalo, I'm gonna put that frequency in. That's on my sectional, which is the Buffalo VOR, which is gonna be slightly to the east of it. No, you don't use dead reckoning at that point because you gotta see the ground. You gotta see the ground in order to do dead reckoning. You have to check your checkpoints. You pick about a checkpoint every 10 nautical miles. Like our next one would be, again, I wrote this all down, for Gulf 2, which would be Hamburg Airport up ahead. So, oh, maybe the, is that better? That might be better. I just had it away from my mouth a little bit. But you plan all this before you fly, and I had a direct route, and you pick checkpoints along that way. If you're totally lost, what I would do at this point, I dial into the Buffalo VOR, and I turn this until it says 2. The arrow pointing has to point up first. And then I'd center that needle. See that? I'm going to keep turning this till the needle centers. And then that's going to fly me right to that VOR with the heading, whatever pops up. Yep. See, I went a little too far. So right now, if I wanted to get slightly east of Buffalo, because the VOR is slightly east, I'd fly a heading of approximately 5.5 to get there. So I'd turn this way. That 2 VORs, you dial in 1, you'd have your sectional, and you draw a line from where you are, or from the radial of the VOR. You draw that straight out, and then you get another VOR, and you just draw a radial straight out from wherever you are. Like this says 2, so I draw a radial from 2, 3, 5 on the Buffalo VOR, going straight down. And then another VOR I'd probably use, if I could pick it up, would probably be Jamestown. 114.7, I'd put that in there. I do the same thing. I'd see where it lines up. I draw a line from there. Wherever the lines intersect, that's where you are. It gives you a good approximation of where you are. If that makes sense. Again, something you have to explain on the private pilot. The check ride, he just basically told me, all right, you're lost. How you gonna find where you're going? And I dialed into the Providence VOR and knew a radial to go. So, and that would have gotten me back to Plymouth. So. 2 VORs, you have one for redundancy in case there's a problem. Hey Kevin, what's going on? And not only that, but you could dial in and see both of them at the same time and triangulate where you are. So, but see, this is pointing right to Buffalo. So if I had a problem I couldn't see, I'm following this the whole way to Buffalo, and then knowing I have to go slightly to the west. So, it gets more accurate as you get closer to the VORs because it's a radio frequency, so it gets more delicate too as you get closer. Like it'll move the needle a lot more. So there's also places where you can't pick up the VOR, which is not realistic in the simulator. They have the chart supplement that tells you what VORs, what radials can't be picked up from certain altitudes and areas. So it's, again, you plan all this while you're going, and then if you really need to, you try dialing in if you're in trouble or something. But you could also just be on an approach the whole time with flight tracking and say, hi, I need vectors to the airport, and they'll give you a heading right to the airport. So another reason why it might be smart to keep your visual. But again, we're kind of low on altitude here, so that's why I'm just riding the coast. And that's another thing I would do too, because Buffalo is right up the coast here, and that's the things that you study before you take off flight. So these clouds have been wreaking havoc on us left and right. So we're keeping it where it needs to be. Kevin, how are you today, sir? 1,700. Again, to just try to stay on these clouds. Let's look at Sky Vector. Let's get an updated METAR, what we have to look forward to, because it wasn't this bad before, but it's broken at 7,000, scattered 6,000, so it should clear up around Buffalo. And Dunkirk is rain, broken 2,200, broken 3,300, and I'm going into clouds here, but we're going to keep an eye on the coast here. Another reason why we're flying up the coast and not going direct. So I'm okay. You know, the weather could be a little bit better, but I'm trying to get these around the USA flights done. And if anything, it's kind of a challenge testing what can happen. Like, see, this is getting pretty bad now. This is in real life, I'd probably just turn around and land somewhere and just wait for the visibility to get better. But again, if you planned it out ahead of time, you probably would have seen this. It did help taking that bike ride in between when I got my weather report. So, in between those two would probably be, you know, you can see visually, horizontally. I wouldn't want to be above clouds if I could help it, because I want to see there's something on the wing. Is this like the Twilight Zone? Is something gonna rip? Do I have gremlins? Is that what's happening here? But you'd see horizontally, but you'd have a cloud layer below you and above you, and you don't want that. You want to be able to see the ground if you're a VFR pilot. So, hence why we're low, and maybe even a little too low. But by following the coast, you can go all the way down to that water if you had to. Not the safest thing, but. You can be in between. Yeah, is it safe? You know, you can't see the ground. You're not going to hit your checkpoints. You better use VORs at that point and have a good idea of what your magnetic heading was that you calculated when you did that E6B calculation. It tells you the heading you have to go. So I have a really long, boring video on how to plan out a flight on the Eric Flight YouTube channel. You should check that out. I know it's boring, but I use the most basic things. Like, I don't use this electronic one, E6B. I use like the old wheel that you had to spin around, and I have one of those in case the batteries dies. But I did the most basic way of doing flight planning. And that would probably be good to check out if you're wanting to see that. I've been meaning to get another video on how to do it with the electronics E6B and Sky Vector and stuff, which is what I do real life and also for flight sim. So, but I should check that out. It's on there. Just check Eric Flight flight planning, and I think it should pop up on YouTube. But you could be in between if you have enough horizontal distance and vertical between the clouds. So that would also be tricky at that too, because I think you said you had 2,000 in between. So you have to be pretty accurate on your flying there. So you have to be 500 above, 1,000 above, 500 below. So that leaves you a little bit of like a 500 feet distance to maneuver in between. That's not much. All right, we're getting a little altitude here. But we can still see the ground, we can still see Lake Erie, and we are eventually going to have to move over the water a little bit because there is a TFR for the New England Patriots game and the Buffalo Bills at the stadium, which is the southern part of Buffalo. Now, this is Class Charlie coming up too, so I am going to have to get into contact with Cleveland Center if they're still on VATSIM, which they are. So 134.9, we'll get that ready to go. I did not ask for flight following, so I do not have two-way communication to get in there.
Contact 80 Center.
So that was Cleveland Center. I just want to make sure I got something going on here. Okay, we'll descend a little bit. This is a little disconcerting here, but we can do this. Well, if you see that thing on the wing, let me know. Oh God, a good computer. That's number one. I would say nothing less than a 1080, and that would probably get you in high settings maybe. This is on ultra settings. I have a 2080 and a 99. Actually, if you go on Twitch, you'll see my whole setup there. I think I might have put it on YouTube too. I'm not sure if I did. But you need a good graphics card, good processor. The memory, I would recommend 32, even though you can probably get away with 16. It's just that it can't load as much at one time. I recommend an SSD drive instead of just a regular hard drive. And that should get you running about high settings on this, if that makes sense. But good graphics card, good processor, good RAM, and about those things I told you, and you should be good to go generally on that. 1,500. So again, I'm on the coast here, so I have some place to land in case there's a problem, but I also have place to go at this low altitude and not over houses. This weather's been hit or miss. Also, if you want weather like this, it's that Rex Weather Force has been an awesome program. They had to update it in the last update, but This still doesn't have the best flight dynamics, in my opinion, of any flight simulator. I'm a Microsoft guy because I've been doing it since '98. But X-Plane has the better flight dynamics, if you ask me, on planes. If you want realism, it depends what you want in realism. But I think that as they keep working on this, it's going to get better and better. My patience is kind of wearing thin. Hamburg Airport, by the way, is my last checkpoint. We can see we're pretty low. Should be out there. If we can't see it, we use the GPS to help us. So that's the beauty of having a GPS moving map in real life as well. But I don't think we're going to see Hamburg Airport there. So, visibility is an issue. I'm going to get ready to go Class Charlie here. So let me call up Cleveland Center. And I have to report where I am, which is about 15 nautical miles out. So, Cleveland Center, November 489 Echo Foxtrot.
489 Echo Foxtrot, Cleveland Center, go ahead.
Says up, great. Cessna Echo Foxtrot, 50 nautical miles to the south of Buffalo. We're going to do a full landing there. Requesting clearance to the Class Charlie.
Skyhawk 9 Echo Foxtrot, Cleveland Squawk 5736.
Yeah, I got into that transponder. 5736, 9 Echo Foxtrot. And I'm still outside Class Charlie, by the way, because you can't go in there.
Skyhawk 9 Echo Foxtrot, radar contact, position as reported. Do you have a preferred altitude?
Currently at 2,000 around there, but cloud clearance, 9 Echo Foxtrot.
Okay, I'll give you a clearance up to 3,500. Maintain VFR below 3,500 cleared into the Buffalo Class Bravo airspace, Class Charlie airspace. Enter a left downwind for runway 23.
Alright, so we're going to maintain at or below 3,500, clear into the Class Charlie, and we're going to set up, what was that for the runway?
Enter a left downwind for runway 23 at Buffalo.
Left downwind for runway 23 for Buffalo, 9 Echo Foxtrot. Alright, he even gave me my runway. So, now in the real world, you'd have tower and everything, and he'd hand you up there, and then they'd tell you all that, but that was a lot in one thing, so. Well, awesome, you know, I mean, I'm just a private pilot. I don't see myself becoming a professional paid pilot. I have my career in music
Skyhawk 9
teaching.
Echo Foxtrot, do you just have a GPS on board?
I do have GPS, that's affirmative, 9 Echo Foxtrot.
Okay, got an answer. And your full stop, you said?
Full stop, 9 Echo Foxtrot. You must be getting...
Echo Foxtrot, advise me your midfield downwind for runway 23, and I'll give you a clearance sign at that point in time.
We'll advise on the midfield downwind for runway 24, 9 Echo Foxtrot. Correction, 23, 9 Echo Foxtrot. Alright, I don't know why, but it's not...
The Buffalo altimeter is 2969er, latest weather 25010, 10 station miles, scattered at 6,000, broken 7,000, broken 9,500, then broken again at 17,000. The temperature 7, dew point 2, altimeter 2969.
Roger, 9 Echo Foxtrot. That was a lot. That was a lot of information you just gave me. But again, you get the basics out there. Here's Buffalo off to our left, so that's cool to see. And we're skimming the stadium here of the Patriots game here. She's out here somewhere. I'm thinking it might be one of these buildings out here. That's where the Buffalo Bills play out there, but it's not going to show it because I don't think it has that in the default. But all right, man. Thanks for tuning in, Kevin, and have a great day. Downtown Buffalo, I did put in scenery for Buffalo, so that's why it looks a little bit better from there. And what we're going to do is we're going to head right for the left downwind for runway 23, which is right in front of us. Again, 23 is about here, so we're going to go inching into the airport a little bit more. But Buffalo's right there. Pattern altitude is approximately 1,700 feet, so we're almost there. We're 400 feet above that, so we'll descend to 1,700 now to get set up pretty good. And Kevin, just keep working at it, bud. Learn all that you can now, because that'll make the lessons a little cheaper. Remember that too. The actual mechanics of flying, you have to get down no matter what, but the knowledge you can get down whenever you can. Now I'm going to report midfield. So I'm going to be left downwind, and when I'm up halfway up the runway, I'm going to say midfield, left downwind, runway 23, 9 Echo Foxtrot, and that way he knows to give me the clearance for landing. That's what he meant.
Cleveland Center, Blue Streak 5147 with you, 8,500 for 14,000.
And he'd be Buffalo Tower, so just pretend that Cleveland Center's Buffalo, it's Buffalo Tower, because we don't have Buffalo Tower on Bat Sim. So.
Climb maintain flight level 360, Blue Streak 5147.
But again, I'm going to do the class Charlie too, because I established two-way communication as evidenced by the transponder. He's tracking me on that. So, you go left downwind, you get that going. Airport seems to be out there, I think. I'm using GPS to help me on that. Actually, that could be it right there. That's it right there. So, let's get over here to the right, because the runway's got to be on the left for a left downwind. We're about pattern altitude, so we'll keep the RPMs just slightly.
3979. United 79 Cleveland.
If you want to get used to air traffic control though, this helped me immensely. Bat Sim, I mean, I've been doing this since the late 90s, but to trade for a private pilot, it didn't take me that long to get my communications going because I practiced on Bat Sim, so.
Alright, Roger.
So we're good on that side. Again, the Microsoft Flight Simulator traffic, we don't really worry about. I do that more so people can fly with me. There's a Delta Airlines flight in real life coming out of there, 1790. If you have flight radar 24, you can check that
Cleveland
out.
Center, American 53 is with you, flight level 210.
But I might have to do that fast if I can do
Good
it.
evening, continue to send via the Rocket 3 departure, frictional arrival.
By the way,
Cleveland
judging
landing
distance
24.
on your landings, you want the
Roger
runway
that,
to be
Cleveland
about
landing 24
halfway
right,
up
continue on
the
the
wing
Rocket
strut.
3,
So I can already tell
arrival,
that I'm going to have to go in there a little bit more. So, because he said left downwind, so he wants me to make sure that the runway's on my left. All my turns will be to my left. And that's probably because it's known as a left pattern in the real world for your typical entry. But he could say right, he could say straight full in, so it's whatever he wants, you follow. And the only time that you could break that is if there's a safety reason why you can't. Like if there was a bunch of planes on the left, I can't get in there, I'd be negative, unable to comply, and then I'm in control no matter what of the plane. So right now, if I had to deviate, I deviate. It's whatever I have to do. So, all right, that is a real-world flight. That Delta Airlines flight there. It's going from Buffalo to Atlanta, and had a scheduled departure of 2:30. So I have to go up the left because he said left downwind. So. If you said right downwind, you could go down the right. Yeah, it's whatever the tower wants you to do. And they're just trying to vector you in as fast as possible.
Actually, once you get that altitude, as mentioned, you can probably expect direct fault.
You have to make all turns to the left in a left-hand pattern. But the way I remember it is that the runway will be off my left when I'm doing a left pattern.
Is that for United 79?
You can see it's going to be about halfway up the wing strut, which means I'm at the appropriate distance away from the runway. And you just get used to that by doing the traffic pattern.
Face
over
goes
and over
north
again.
if you haven't already
As well.
said to go
So,
south.
we're at 1700, which is about pattern altitude. It's about 1,000 feet above the airport altitude. And once we get to about this runway right here, intersecting, that's when I'm going to say left. Cleveland Center, you know, left midfield, left downwind, runway 2, checking everyone. 23, Cessna Foxtrot. You should know where I am. And actually, that Delta Airlines is on the ground still. But here we go. So we're about midfield, almost. So that's pretty good placement. Again, if you're a little off, you just aim the nose in a little bit. It'll get you over there. He's controlling center and tower because it's VAT Sim. It's a top-down thing. Midfield, left downwind, Cessna Echo Foxtrot.
Magna Echo Foxtrot, the Buffalo in 25010, runway 23, clear land.
Clear the land, runway 23, Echo Foxtrot. All right, so now it's all
us.
us.
Expect to exit on runway 32 and back taxi 32 up to, what is that, Gulf.
All right. Roger, I might ask for those directions once I'm down, just to get reminded of that. Echo Foxtrot.
No worries.
Okay, he's just throwing a lot of directions at me. So again,
Center United 1744, Pittsburgh,
110,
approach
10
to
degrees of
Deluxe.
flaps. Good. I'm gonna extend it down a little bit here. We're a little long here, but that's better. So,
United
but yeah, he's doing
1744
tower and center only
Cleveland.
because he controls everything below when the tower's not on there. Okay, we're gonna turn left base.
United 1744, Cleveland Center.
Should be around 80 knots by the time we're getting out here, so that's not terrible.
Morgantown transition, Gibbs 3 arrival.
Flight dynamics could be a little bit better on this. What I'm looking right now is this line's up to 2-3. We got a lot of wind though, so I might have to correct that.
5737.
I'm
Actually,
keeping it
zero
80
initial
knots.
altitude. I maintain 5,000.
That's with 10 degrees in. You can do the
United
first 10 degrees at 110 knots
1744
on
is
the airspeed.
cleared to Dulles as filed.
Alright, we're good. We're gonna go to
Maintain
1500.
5,000. Squawk
Another 10 degrees once we're in
5737.
the white arc, and we're gonna turn final. I just kind of have a feeling because that's the way. Gonna shoot about 70 knots as we get in there somewhere. Do what I have to do.
We'll
Shoot
check
about
2-8 right
500
if
feet
that's
per
okay.
minute.
2A right is approved.
Again, a lot of this is just feel and doing it that many times in the real world, but peripheral vision sucks in simulator. See, I went a little wide.
United 1744.
That's usually what happens in the simulator, unless you get right on it. So, but by giving us enough extended downwind here, you have enough time to set it back up, which is always a good thing. So, I'm also getting some frame hit here, but that's from all that scenery I installed. See buffaloes in the distance there. Here we go. We're a little low, so I'll put a little bit more speed in. We'll just level off the plane. You can see the glide scope, the Pappy, not liking me right now, but we're okay still. We'll just keep leveled off. Not putting in those flaps yet. You don't want to lose track of the runway though. So now there we go. We're on the glide scope again. See? Okay. Pull out the throttle a little bit. Now we're above it. I like to be above it more than below it.
Blue Streak 5147, contact Indy Center 119.55.
And we're doing pretty good. All right, we're a little fast.
Okay, over to
Should be
Indy
around
Center
70. Last 10 degrees of
119.55.
flaps.
Let's
That
see,
should
Blue
slow us
Streak
down.
5147.
Throttle out. Should be
American
landing at about
53,
65
contact
knots.
Cleveland approach 124.0.
This is the stuff that you get used to.
Over
when you
to Cleveland approach, American
practice
53.
the pattern that many times. Although I trained in the 152. The 172 is
Cleveland
kind of
Center,
like it,
Cessna
just
312 Kilo
faster landing speed
Romeo.
by 5
We
knots.
are 5 nautical
I have
miles
my
east
airport
of
diagram
Goder,
there.
12,000 feet headed to Rochester to land. 312 Kilo Romeo.
Caravan
And
2,
throttle out.
312 Kilo Romeo, Cleveland.
We're
Send and maintain
level off.
10,000 to Rochester up to Newark 29.
Then we're gonna flare. We're not gonna pretend. We're gonna pretend that Dallas
Down
Airlines
to
is not there.
10,000
Delta
for
Airlines, I mean.
312 Kilo Romeo.
Because that's Microsoft Flight Simulator. VADSIM doesn't use that. And there we go. Come on now. There we go. Come on, rudder pedals.
Skyhawk
Alright.
Commander Echo Fox, welcome to Buffalo. Exit right on runway 32, back taxi runway 32 to Gulf, make the right turn of Gulf.
All right, right on to 3-2 and back taxi to Gulf for 9 Echo Foxtrot. Where's Gulf though? You said right turn on to 3-2 though, right? Yeah, I'm looking for Gulf though. Oh, okay. Gulf's all the way up there. Level off means I just kind of keep it straight until I do my flare.
Push back onto Yankee.
United 79 runway 27 right taxi by
Okay,
Kilo.
3-2.
Kilo cross runway 27 right on Kilo, Victor all the way to the end, cross all runways.
Center, did you mean left onto runway 3-2 to back taxi to Gulf for 9 Echo Foxtrot?
9 Echo Foxtrot, make a right turn on runway 32, and then taxiway Gulf is at the end. Or not at the end, up midway between you and the end of the runway. It's the GA ramp up there.
Alright, Roger, 9 Echo Foxtrot.
United 79, if you didn't hear me, make the go north on Kilo, cross 27 right on Kilo, make the right turn on Victor, and you cross runway 21 right.
I have no
21
clue what he
left
meant.
on
Because
Victor.
Gulf is this little thing, the passenger terminal.
Alright.
But,
United 79, Kilo, cross.
alright, let's turn around then.
21 right. Sorry, 21 right.
This would not be the best directions. I don't see a Gulf there. But you said all the way at the end, take a turn. So we will do that.
Yeah, if you do some Raleigh,
So I'm looking at the airport diagram, and Gulf is literally all the way down runway 2-3. So, yeah, you level off about 10 feet just to get it there, then you start flaring. So 9 to 10 feet above the runway. Okay, I'm thinking he's taking this little rep there, but I'm not sure. I'm at Buffalo. I'm so confused with this. I'll go to this building. We'll call it a day. How's that? I think that's what he means by the general aviation. However, it's not marked on the airport diagram, and there's nothing to the right there except for the terminal.
1744, ready to taxi 28 right.
All right. Either way, we'll be good.
Guys at 1744. Give me a call holding short of a taxiway off the ramp. It's kind of tough.
I'm just gonna disconnect now. Flare should be starting at 10 feet. That's where you start slowing down the plane. I could, but you know what? He's still giving me golf and this and that, so like he's not really understanding anything. So I just disconnected. He's good. I'm good. I landed. You know what? I'm gonna taxi my way. So I'm gonna get off at Delta 7 here. Because Gulf is this little taxiway off of runway 5, so his directions are not making sense to me. Unless he has an older airport diagram. Mine's good from October 8th to November 5th. So I don't know what's going on there. So. But we'll taxi down here. We'll go past the main terminal. And we'll do that. Because there was no general aviation parking over there. Unless it was that little ramp right there. Which it could have been. But I didn't see any planes there either. And you know what? In times like this in real life, what I would have planned on doing is looking at my Google Maps here and seeing where the thing is. So you know what? We'll do that really fast. It'll be fine. Airport. And then we'll take the drone out everywhere and check out Buffalo. So in real world, I would probably check Progressive, but they would also be going by this chart because Gulf is this little, again, this little taxiway off of runway 523. So I don't know what he meant on that. That's why I asked him, you know, hey, do you want me to take a left there? Because that would have went to Gulf. But let's just stay here for a second. Yeah. I did back taxi though. I went down runway 32 and he said right, didn't he? But even right, either way, I gotta check out where this place is. So, all right, where's the airport? Where are you? Come on. Here we go. All right. Yeah, it is that ramp down there. All right. He was kind of leading me on a weird goose chase. That's not Gull. All right. So we got to go all the way down Delta, and then we'll take a right across runway 14. That's what we're going to do. My right rudder's still broken here, so I gotta put up with it the best I can. Waiting for rudder pedals to come back into stock so I can actually buy some new ones. That is the main terminal here at Buffalo. Whoop. Looks like they had some construction here too. So I don't know. Maybe he has an older diagram. Going down Delta. Again, the airport things here flaps up, by the way. That might help too. The signs are all wrong, so I'm on Delta right now. What does it say? I don't even know what it says. Crossing runway 523. Does it say Delta? No, it says Bravo. So even that's all messed up. Which doesn't help us when we get to airports that we haven't landed at before. Either way, we'll get there. And the general aviation parking's over there, so. I think he might have read Q as G. That's what I'm thinking. because it looks like a G. Take a right, back taxi. But it wasn't G, it was Quebec, which is right here. So let's take the right onto Delta 3. Clear on that side. Clear on the other side. And that is Quebec right there. That's what I think he meant by G. Because if I took the right, back taxi would have went down here, Quebec. But he said no. Confusing. This is the general aviation ramp right here, so we should be good. You can see the planes in there and everything. So we found our way. That's what matters. He's also throwing and this is nothing against him at all, but this is why we have tower and ground and stuff, because he was throwing a lot of directions out at me while I was still just trying to land the airplane. So something like that, you know, that's why I said I'm going to need a reminder when I get on the ground. It's because he was just throwing a lot at me while I was just trying to worry about landing the plane and entry into the pattern he wanted and this and that. So, oh look, they have some, they have a marshal over here. Pushback operator, if you will. And they want me to go that way. I didn't see the marshal guy. Okay. We'll try Microsoft's way. How's that? Alright, here we go. To the left. Straight. Straight, 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 and done. And that means that you can turn it all off. So, alright, good. Checklist. Strobe should be off by now, so I'm blinding people, but that's cool. Flaps up, strobes off, landing light I like to leave on, taxi I like to leave on. Trim, take off, ELT, verify satellite, avionics off. That means radio and all lights except for beacon. Beacon because that means your engine's still on. Probably that light too, we should probably turn off. It doesn't hurt to turn them off, so that way you definitely know they're off. That VOR thing, that seems to be a little bugged now, because I was the altitude, the altimeter, because I was clicking that and it was going nuts here. So, alright, with that, mixture full lean. Mags off, master off, beacon off. Parking brake we never really use in the real world because it's hydraulic, and if you have a leak in the hydraulics, you have a problem. But welcome to Buffalo, everybody. We have made it, finally. Beautiful. Let's take the drone out, shall we? Let's get Buffalo out there in the distance. We'll go take a look at that. Let's go to the airport first. Buffalo Niagara International, right? Yep. And you can see, it gets a little confusing. They had some construction on the runways here. That's the main terminal. We landed on runway 23. And then my problem, I will own up to this, is I took a left to back taxi on the 3-2. But again, that's because I saw Gulf. Gulf in the real world is down here off of runway 5. So you got runway 5 here. And then Gulf is, I believe, this one right here, which is why it wasn't making much sense to me. What he wanted me to do is he wanted me to land here, which I did. He wanted me to take a right and back taxi onto Gulf. Back taxi on 2-3 to Gulf. And that's because he wanted me to go here, which is really Quebec. I don't think he was reading it right. All the way into parking. So that's why I think I was confused. But we did what we could, and that's it. We're good. So, alright, let's take it out to Buffalo now. I did download some scenery and put it in here from Buffalo, knowing I would be coming here. Let's hope that it doesn't crash the desktop or anything, because it did that in California when I did stuff like this, but it hasn't done it since. So, Buffalo in the distance. And Niagara Falls would be to the right of where we're flying, so maybe we could try to check out Niagara Falls too, even though I'm kind of saving that for the next leg here. But probably gonna take a little break and then hopefully come back tonight and do another leg, and we'll go from there. I'm gonna wait for the clouds maybe to lift a little bit. Here's downtown Buffalo. You got the ice rink over there, and I downloaded this scenery. It was freeware, so people put the Google 3D models in, so you can see it's a little more detailed than your typical city. It still uses some generic buildings, but I believe that's Town Hall right there. And you have some type of monument. I can't remember the name of the monument, but this is all freeware scenery, including the stadium here, the Key Bank Center. I think that's where the Buffalo Sabres play. And then out here, I couldn't see the stadium. The stadium is a little south of the city, and that's where the Buffalo Bills play. So, well, I couldn't see it. It would look like to be probably a generic building out here. So I don't know. I mean, I thought maybe that square, but maybe this over here. But that looks like a mall. And actually, it's right here. So maybe it's just satellite imagery. We'll see if that loads a little clearer. But that was where that TFR was. They had a 3 square mile radius around this that you can't fly in. Yeah, that looks like a football stadium. They don't have it in here. Default scenery. Well, that's pretty crazy. Alright, and now let's see if we can go see Niagara Falls a little bit, which is up the coast. Let me get my sectional so I can get a visual on where we're going here. Okay. The Buffalo. Follow the river up. Buffalo, this river right here. And that should take us to Niagara Falls. And I did download scenery for Niagara Falls to make it look better as well. At night it lights it up and everything like the lights that they have there in real life. Here we go. Niagara Falls coming up. We'll get a better look at this because we're going to fly over Niagara Falls International when we do the next leg. But, where are we here? There's that little island. It's got to be here somewhere. Did I just get lost? Maybe. Alright, this is Niagara Falls International. We're going to overfly that after. And then I'm literally going to go to over here. It's over here somewhere. Actually, this is it. It's just not loading. Ah, that is the falls right there. So, it's still got to load a little bit. You can see it's got the lights because it's overcast. And if we just let it load, it'll give us a nice view of Niagara Falls. It included this bridge right here, which is the main border between Canada and the United States. I've passed over that quite a number of times in my life. They don't have the May of the Mist boats, though, like they did in FSX and stuff. But if this ever loads, it would show you the falls in its full detail. So, I'll give it a minute, but if not, we'll check it out on the next flight. So, and there should be some skyscrapers over here on the coast of Canada. It's the tower and stuff. I don't know, not the CN Tower, that's in Toronto. But I guess that's the best we're gonna get for now, unless it loads. It will look very majestic when it loads. So, that's, oh, there we go. Just took a little while. So that's the American side over here. That's the Canadian side over there. And that is Niagara Falls. Again, the main bridge that goes over to Canada. Down over here, there's a whirlpool. This is a whirlpool in real life. It actually has like a whirlpool thing. And they actually have a, I don't know if they have this anymore, but they used to have like a streetcar that would go over the falls on like a cable. You can go take that for a tour. But Niagara Falls, everybody. The American Falls there. The Bridal Veil over here. And Horseshoe Falls over there. So again, this is looking better than the default. The default scenery was a little off, and I know this isn't perfect, but it does a nice job. And then we have the Canadian side over here. When I went to Niagara Falls back in like 1991, I've been there since, but when I stayed there, they didn't have all these buildings, and they actually said it messes with the winds around the falls. So, but there's the Marriott. I think I might have stayed at the Marriott when I was there. Can't remember. Or was it Embassy Suites? I don't know. The pool is on the roof. I remember that. So, I don't know. But that was way back in the 90s anyways. And that's it. We're going to fly back to our plane now by pushing 5. It's going to make us go all the way back to Buffalo. And with that, I will say thank you so much for watching our stream. I hope that it was interesting. I know I answered a lot of questions there. No problem answering questions. Landing the taxi around the airport didn't go as I wanted it to, but sometimes you just gotta do your best, and that's it. This guy's giving me the thumbs up in front of me anyway, so must have been 2 thumbs up. And thank you so much for watching. Please push follow on Twitch if you liked what you saw here. And also check out the Eric Flight YouTube channel where I have real-world flight videos as well as an archive of streams that I've done. And I have the Around the USA flights all in its own playlist. So if you want to spend 50 hours of your life reliving everything I relived flying since June, it'd be a good place to go. But I appreciate if you push like on any video you like and push that subscribe button on YouTube as well. And I will see you hopefully tonight. We're going to try for the next leg tonight and see what happens. But I hope to see you then if you can make it, and have a wonderful day.